My husband works his day job, then tutors until 11 p.m. almost every night, and when I told him he's neglecting our family, he said he's doing it for us, but our income already covers everything and then some. Posted by you/Virgo514. My husband and I have known each other for 6 years and been married for almost 3 years now. We have a 1-year-old, and we're expecting another baby. Our marriage has been full of emotional highs. We love each other and let the other know regularly. My husband has a 9-to-5 job, after which he is also a tutor. He had started this back when we were in college, and it was never an issue. He always had enough time. Even in the years leading up to the marriage and the first year of our marriage, this was never a big issue. However, in the last year or so it's become a big issue, and it's getting worse. He keeps on adding more classes to his schedule. Until last month we had a red line that no classes on Sunday. He would devote that entire time to us. But last month he even added a class on Sunday on the excuse that exams are starting. It started to feel like me and my son weren't a priority to him anymore. Some days he comes home at 11. On other days he's doing it online, but that's not much better because he still can't give us any time. Last Sunday, I finally spoke out and told him he was neglecting his family. He was offended and told me that he doesn't enjoy having to work so hard, but he's doing it for our family. This is where I told him that no, I think he does enjoy it. It gives him an excuse to not spend time with us, and that he was doing this for himself, not for us. As things currently stand, our collective income is more than enough. There really was no need for him to add more classes on top of his existing ones. He's doing it for himself at this point. He's literally busy Monday through Saturday, and now he's trying to cross the red line we established for Sunday. We've been on bad terms since this fight. He keeps saying he can't believe that I said he works for himself, not for us. Am I the jerk here? Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I have a 9-to-5 job too, and like I said, our collective income covers our expenses and then some. If that weren't the case, of course I wouldn't be angry. I would understand. But given the situation, the fact that he took away the one day we get together just because it's exam season really got to me. Ops response, I have a 9-to-5 job too, and like I said, our collective income covers our expenses and then some. If that weren't the case, of course I wouldn't be angry. I would understand. But given the situation, the fact that he took away the one day we get together just because it's exam season really got to me. I also want to make clear I absolutely appreciate how he provides for us to give us a great standard of living. And I've told him this many times. But now it feels like he's adding more work to disengage. We have a joint bank account. I know how much money we make together and how much our expenses are. As things currently stand, almost all my income is our joint savings after all the expenses are done. That's why adding more students and classes doesn't make sense to me. Commenter 2, is it possible that he grew up very poor, and is not comfortable with your current financial setting? You have a young child, and you have another on the way. Perhaps he feels that the nest egg that you two have is not big enough. Ops response, no, he did not grow up poor. Both his parents are doctors, so that wasn't the case at all. Commenter 3, I see where you're coming from, but I gotta ask, you sound like you feel secure about your financial situation. But does he? You're expecting another kid. You have a 1-year-old with another on the way. I don't know where you're based, but certain regions are more expensive than others for families to live in. Based on just that information alone, there could be plenty of thought put behind whether or not you guys have the financial stability for the future. You clearly think so, but does your husband? Have you ever had that conversation with him, fruitfully, honestly, about the objective truth of your financial stability and his and your thoughts on it? Ops response, yes, we had that discussion before. We talked about how since we're already comfortable, there shouldn't be any need to have a class on Sunday. In fact, at the time, I also thought he should cut down on his existing classes but relented on the Sunday agreement. I didn't think the numbers were important, but a lot of comments seemed to doubt my judgment that we're stable. I'm an accountant who makes $70,000 per year. My husband is a software engineer who makes around over $100,000. And based on how many students he teaches and how many classes he has, he makes over $100,000 from that. Our household income covers our expenses. I'm an accountant. This is kind of my bread and butter. Update, 2 days later. Thank you for the feedback in the last post. The comments said that me asking him to adhere to the boundaries we established was reasonable. Some comments also suggested that I should not have implied that he works just to get away, so I was a little apologetic as well. After he came back, I decided to talk to him about this. The conversation was a bit of a train wreck. I brought up the fact that our income far exceeds our current and projected expenses. That me and our son were missing him, and needed him to spend more time with us, and I made sure to stress that I appreciated all that he did. It just seemed like we were on completely different wavelengths. He said he kept on taking more lessons and students because he wanted us to have a good standard of living, have better vacations, better schools, a second house. I was dumbfounded. I never knew he felt that way. I stress our current standard of living was great. We make enough money, and that if he thinks that way, there's no end in sight. What if he decided we should also have a third house or something? Right now I needed him with me. At this point, I kind of lost control and started crying. I didn't mean to. It wasn't something I wanted to do to pressure him or anything. Just the fact that we were at an impasse was wrecking me. I told him I'd been feeling unhappy, that I kept compromising, and he reneged on it. After some more crying and consoling, my husband agreed that Sunday should have remained off limits. He gently asked me to give him a pass for one more Sunday, because his students' exams end next week and he would make Sunday untouchable the following semester onwards. He also promised to try to resize his classes in order to be able to come back home for dinner, even if it's late dinner. He asked for time to do all this. I've given it to him, and I know he loves us enough to do what he promised. Thanks for the feedback to the original post. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, you need to tell him that he needs to get right with his family and you right now. Or he might be living in that third house alone. Play him Cats in the Cradle as background music. Ops response, I would like the changes to happen immediately, but I want those changes to be permanent. If he does something at a snap right now but has to go back, that would suck. So I'm just giving him the time to make those sustainable changes. I'm getting our Sunday back after the next one, which is progress. At least we're back to the red line. He said he already booked a lot of classes for the next semester, so he just asked for time to discuss and rearrange them since he can't just say no to his students after agreeing. He was earnest. I believe I made it known to him the toll it's been taking on me, and he will make the necessary changes. Commenter 2, did he explain why he had these feelings of needing more? Is it because the new baby is coming and this is like some weird financial nesting? Or did this start well before you were pregnant? Ops response, that's kind of where we weren't getting through to each other. He kept saying that he wants our family to have a good lifestyle, while I kept saying that we're already in a place where we aren't lacking anything except him in the house. He finally understood that that's what our son and I need from him right now. I know I had told him last week that I think he does this just to be away from us, which I feel bad about, but it's just that his tutoring hit critical mass close to when our son was born. I know the number of students and classes had been increasing steadily over the years, and maybe we should have set boundaries from the start, but it's gotten too much now. Commenter 3, have you guys considered hiring a maid or nanny to help with household duties? If you're making enough money, it could be worth the investment to reduce your burden. Ops response, yeah, that came up in the conversation, and I'm looking into it. My job is work from home 2 days of the week, so that helps, and my mom lives close by, which is super helpful too. Most days I manage the household and child rearing without any issues. Like it's not like I plan to give him a list of errands to run on the days he's in the house, but him just being physically present is something I'm missing now, and he's promised to remedy it as well he can. Commenter 4, you did a good job and took an important first step. I think it would be unrealistic for him to do a complete 180 after this conversation, and this is a necessary stepping stone. I'm usually very negative about relationships, but it disheartened me to see all the top comments being so negative when you took the time to update us and you didn't need to. I hope things continue to improve for you. Ops response, thank you. I had thought I did good, and then found out a lot of people here disagreed, so I started doubting how I did. I appreciate what everyone is saying, but he's a loving husband, friend, and father. It's just this one issue that's just gotten out of hand. I can't think of packing my bags. I believe he was neglecting us, but during the conversation realized he didn't know the extent to which it was affecting us. The classes issue has been getting bigger and bigger over time, so I realize fixing it will require some time. I'm just going to make sure I see him do it. Commenter 5, the biggest problem I see is that his self-worth is being validated by his students and classes, more than by his own family. He likes how teaching makes him feel, and he doesn't get the same validation from being just a husband and father. So, he will continue to prefer working as much as he can. And it's a double whammy because he justifies the extra work is for his family, so he feels doubly validated for doing good things. Ops response, your comment stayed with me for some reason, and I kept coming back to it. I asked him yesterday if he enjoyed teaching physics and math for hours on end, that he works so long, how does he not start hating it? I didn't bring up the topic of reduced hours or Sunday because we already have an agreement on that for now. He said he does like it. After some more inconspicuous needling, he told me he enjoys the fact that so many people trust that he can make them understand stuff and better their grades or future. I didn't go further into it. But your comment really helped give me some insight. Thank you so much. Update 2, over 1 year later. Over a year ago I had asked for feedback from Reddit over my husband's work schedule. Since then things have gotten much better. Many people have been very kind to ask me if things are better. I had posted about the current state of things a month ago but deleted it because the first few comments and PMs were pessimistic and I had anticipated a more optimistic response. But I'm more secure in where we are now and just decided to post the final update here. Around a year ago I had been having issues with my husband regarding his tutoring schedule and had come here to know if I was in the wrong. A few people had asked me to let them know if things improve or continue to deteriorate. We're in a better place now. We've been blessed with a daughter now too. He has become better at handling his workload and tutors primarily online now. I know I had said at the time that that's not much better, but it really is. Sundays have become sacrosanct again, with very rare exceptions that he asks my approval for in advance, and Wednesdays are free now too. He does more group tutoring now, and so gets done by 8:30 most days too. He also got a new day job which is entirely work from home, which has made things much better because he isn't so burnt out anymore. In the weeks following up to my daughter's arrival, he'd been by my side, especially since she arrived during the summer when school is out. I also took some advice from here and hired help to ease the burden, which has worked out really well. I've also learned to embrace the fact that his tutoring gives him joy which maybe his software development job doesn't. He seems to be proud when his students get into good universities, and that it results in even more students. He still claims to do it for purely financial reasons, but I know that can't be completely true, because our financial needs really do not require it. So it must be something he enjoys. So I've become more understanding on that front too. I have had to put my foot down a few times though, especially in the initial days following our conversation to make sure he understands that I was serious about needing his presence more. I had also confided in his older sister about this issue, which he was not happy about at the time and was probably an accidental jerk move on my end, but it helped. They had an argument. She straight up told him he was either going to end up working his way into an early grave at the age of 30 or ending up divorced, which helped. Full disclosure, the only time we ever really argue is still about this when I'll want him to be free but he won't be. But it's rare, and overall we've come up with a good balance that seems to be working for us. Thank you. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I think my questions are, is he missing things? What do you need support with? What's the actual crux of the issue? I read your posts and it speaks to a lot of how you feel, but is he actually not pulling his weight at home? Is he missing important events? I agree it's important to spend time together as a family unit, but usually when working on improving relationships, feedback needs to be specific and actionable. Ops response, we don't get to have our evening tea where we used to decompress, except on Wednesdays and Sundays. I know that doesn't sound like much, but I really enjoy that, and I guess it's unfortunate he's not missing that. Sometimes he'll miss dinner, but he really tries to avoid it, I know. As far as important events go, all of our friends and family now know that Saturdays don't work for us, so they avoid it if possible. But the other day a family friend had a gender reveal party on Saturday, and my husband couldn't accompany me. Little things like that still happen. If I'm being very honest, when my son was born, I had a picture in my mind of what our house would look like after 5 p.m. It involved my husband always being there and us all having quality family time. The fact that that didn't happen is what my real issue is. I know life gets in the way, but I'm concerned about how we're developing our bonds as a family sometimes. As far as chores go, we've hired some help, and my mom being close really helps too, so that's not too big of an issue. Update 3, 8 months later. My husband and I have been married for over 4 years. Our son is 3, and our daughter is 16 months old. My husband has a busy schedule, due to both his day job and his business after that and on Saturdays, and sometimes if I'm okay with it, Sundays. We had planned to go to Spain at the end of December for a couple of weeks. Like we've bought tickets, booked a hotel, talked about how we'll spend our 2 weeks there. Last weekend he asked if we could postpone our trip to the end of June. Like a literal 6 months after we're supposed to go. I said no. It was so unfair that he was pulling this at the last minute. He asked me to understand that his business required him to suddenly change his plans, that it was important, that he'd been looking forward to this downtime as much as I had. To provide more context, this isn't the first time this has been an issue. His business hours had been an issue over the past 2 to 3 years. He'd made changes and organized his hours better, and his job had become work from home too, so we had struck a balance that I could be okay with. But his business hours again started infringing on our family time, and he'd been promoted to a managerial role at his day job, so he was now going into work on some days too. I told him I'd been looking forward to this for so long, counting days till our vacation. I told him I'll be going regardless whether he wants to come or not, and if he doesn't want to come, we can get a refund and my best friend can go in his place. Admittedly, I was just lashing out. I have no idea the logistics of it. Yesterday I asked him again what his plan was. He tried to show me messages from his clients to show how busy he was during that period. I told him I don't care. He gave me his word. According to him, I'm being unreasonable. I wanted to know, am I the jerk here? Also, I don't even know if it's logistically feasible and I don't want it to come to it, but would I be the jerk if I actually went on vacation and took my best friend along? Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I figured they wouldn't be transferable. I believe our tickets should be refundable. I haven't checked because I hate thinking about it, and I believe he'll come through. Ops response, I figured they wouldn't be transferable. I believe our tickets should be refundable. I haven't checked because I hate thinking about it, and I believe he'll come through. Commenter 2, what's the financial situation? Does he need to be working a second job, and does he really need to please this client this much? Ops response, our financial situation is well in the green. Tending to these clients during those 2 weeks won't make or break us. Commenter 3, he needs to either set the boundary with his clients that he won't be available those 2 weeks, or do the work remotely from Spain. His business is tutoring students. If he lets them know now, he can plan what he's tutoring them on to get them ready for exams before he goes away. Definitely hold your ground on this. From your previous posts, he has a real issue with overworking and not prioritizing family. It's like he feels like he's failing if he relaxes, and that's not good for his health long term or his marriage. Ops response, thanks. I agree, and maybe that's the compromise I can go with. That he can do it online from there. It's not ideal. I'm not wild about him doing his classes while we're on vacation, but at least we'll be together. I'll think about it. Also, I just realized my profile was available for people to see my previous posts. It sounds wrong, but I was trying to keep the business vague rather than mention that it's his tutoring business because when that gets mentioned, everyone becomes a lot more sympathetic about the work. But it's not a charity he's running. It's his business. Commenter 4, the tutoring thing makes him look worse, honestly. He could easily have told his students he's not going to be available those weeks months ago. And that's even before I peeked your profile and saw you were the one who posted previously about what a workaholic your husband is. If you do delay the vacation, you know he's just going to cancel again, right? He's addicted to working, and this is never going to end. Ops response, I'm surprised and honestly relieved that his business being tutoring isn't clouding people's judgment. It definitely does in real life. If I ever in passing talk about how busy he is, everyone, including my own mom, is like, yeah, it sucks, but also look at how many students' future he's securing. At this point, I just honestly want to reply with, what about our kids? My kids get his undivided attention less than other people's kids. I know it sounds horrible. Commenter 5, that may be a fix for now, but boundaries don't work when your husband continues to blow through them and faces no consequences. If you divorced right now and your husband had 50-50 custody, we would see his kids more. Is this really how you want to continue living? If you're fine with how things are right now, then that's fine. But it doesn't seem like you are happy. Because this keeps coming up again and again. And he continues to not listen to you, and then he complains about problems that he created. Ops response, no, I'm not. I would like him to dedicate more of his time to us. And he did make things better, but things got out of hand again. He's a good and loving husband and father otherwise. It's just this one issue, and it is what it is, I guess. But pulling the rug out at the last minute is unacceptable, and that's why I don't think I should postpone the vacation. I'm going to push for him doing it online from there. I think that'll be a good compromise. Update 4 days later. Hi, thanks a lot for the feedback on my first post. I had decided to suggest he do his tutoring classes online while we were in Spain as a compromise, and that's what I was planning on doing. My husband caught a cold on Thursday though and had been really down and out the last couple of days. He had taken these 2 days off work from his day job. Despite my insistence that he rest, he tried to do his tutoring classes scheduled but literally couldn't get through it and canceled those as well. I didn't want to have the conversation while he was this sick, so I postponed it. It was great, maybe not the best choice of words as a wife talking about my husband getting sick, to kind of just have him do nothing for these 2 days. He spent time with me and the kids. A few of his friends and some mutual friends of ours also came to our place to see him because they rarely see him outside of important occasions. Last night I brought up the vacation again. He agreed without too much resistance. He said he'll move around some classes or take them in advance, but either way he'll be with us for the vacation. I thanked him and also told him he needs to take it easy. It's clearly affecting his health. He was like, him being sick isn't because of the work. It's because of the change in weather. I did bring up that we had an agreement earlier and that he kept to it for a while and we'd really struck a good balance, but things are back to the way they were prior to that. He said he always asked me before filling up Sundays, and that is true to be fair. It's just, there's only so many times I can say no. He also mentioned how 2 people he knows have recently been laid off, that times are bad economically. I told him I don't see why that has to affect him. We're doing well financially. We have more than enough savings. Our careers are good. He has a business that has been growing every year. We're secure where we are. He said he was too sick to talk about this, and that right now our kids are young, they need less of him, that his classes are important because students and parents come to him after having heard of him, and that it's important for them to get into good universities. I told him our son is old enough that he now wants to spend time with him, and that I can compromise on my needs and wants but not our kids. He got the point I was trying to make and said that he'll make the necessary changes. I'm glad our vacation is back on track. I'd really been looking forward to this as a family. Also, I'm glad I told him how he'd been reneging on the balance we'd established earlier and he'll be going back to it. He did do it last time, so I'm confident he'll do it again. We both just have to work to make sure we keep it in place. Thanks a lot. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, glad the vacation is happening supposedly, but he's full of crap. He's made his priorities clear. Young kids need their parents more. Commenter 2, by the time he is ready to be a dad, his kids won't know who he is beyond the name, and as a result they won't want him around because they won't have a bond or anything in common. You need to have your New Year's resolution be that if he goes back to his old ways of prioritizing everyone and everything above you and the kids, that you will walk away and consult a divorce lawyer. You might find it easier and less stressful to be a real single mom than a married single mom. It's better for the kids to be in a happy single parent home than in a two-parent home where one parent resents the absent parent.